is live on page 5FM Radio Zambia and our YouTube channel 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. Forum for African Women Education Paweza Executive Director Costin Kanchele has understood the need for infrastructure that enables young people to engage in meaningful and education around sexual and reproductive health and rights (SRHR). Mr. Kanchele pointed out that accessible and youth-friendly spaces are critical in promoting awareness, reducing stigma, and empowering adolescents with the knowledge and resources they need to make informed decisions about their health. He noted that such infrastructure should include youth-friendly corners within health facilities, which not only provide safe spaces for young people to gather and discuss SRHR matters, but are also equipped with relevant services and a reliable stock of reproductive health commodities. Speaking during a youth-led intergenerational dialogue on SRHR and budget prioritization in Kanyama constituency, Mr. Kanchele says these may include contraceptives, menstrual hygiene products, educational materials, and trained health personnel who can offer confidential and non-judgmental support.
There was committee related to the distribution of CD Fund C. What component can go towards, accessing SRHR services, especially for youths? However, is that we're able to commit, for example, youth health facilities to start with. If it is services provided, that they want to access are they there? But this for youths that are 18.
The Zambia Institute of Valuation Surveyors has welcomed the decision of the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources to reject the proposed Land and Deeds Registry Bill number 13 of 2025 and for referring it back to Ministry of Justice. Organization President Christopher Mulenga notes that as an institute, it appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on recently to make submissions regarding this proposed bill. Mr. Mlenga says the organization is delighted, together with other stakeholders that also appeared before the committee, to share the ramifications that the granting of unilateral power to the Chief Registrar of Lands to cancel certificates of title will have on the general land administration space of Zambia. He says the proposed amendment risks undermining the security of land tenure, eroding public confidence in Zambia's land administration system, and weakening the foundations of the land and property market. He added that, drawing on expert insights from legal, valuation, and agricultural stakeholders, Mr. Mlenga says the Lands and Deeds Registry Bill number 13 of 2025 is not just a legal amendment, it is a direct threat to property rights, the rule of law, and the constitutionalism in Zambia.
Allow administrative mechanisms to correct fraudulent or wrongful entries in the land register are necessary. These corrections must be done in a transparent manner, subject to judicial oversight and aligned with constitutional guarantees. Therefore, undermining this system through centralized and unchecked cancellation powers creates unpredictability and legal chaos. As a profession that operates in the land sector, we feel the proposed amendments risk sidelining technical professionals and replacing structured institutional processes with arbitrary administrative power.
Zambia Union of Government and Allied Workers President Moyayawa Kabisa has expressed concern over the failure by some members of parliament to initiate and support necessary development projects in their constituencies, despite having promised to represent their people in the pursuit of progress. Mr. Kabisa stated that the current state of affairs demonstrates that some members of parliament are either so uneducated that they cannot comprehend the nation's development efforts, or they are simply retrogressive in their approach. He further noted that government employees are damaging their vehicles and endangering their lives due to roads that are in a severe state of disrepair. Mr. Kabisa questioned why government workers must spend hours traveling to banks, hospitals, or other service centers when each constituency is allocated sufficient resources to address local infrastructure challenges. A police officer stationed at Sulawesi Central Police Station, identified as Funkuta Muyembi, this morning shot and killed his wife and brother-in-law. The deceased have been identified as Womba Samulozela and her stepbrother Wana Samulozela. Confirming the incident, Police Public Relations Officer Ray Hamonga stated that the tragic case of murder and suicide occurred today, August 1st, 2025, at around 0530 hours in the low-density area of Solwezi District. It was reported to Solwezi Central Police Station at 0921 hours by F. Kalumbu Agnes, aged 45, of the same residence. Mr. Hamonga said the incident is believed to have stemmed from an ongoing marital dispute. He added that police officers promptly responded to the scene and discovered all three deceased individuals in the according to Mr. The bodies of the two victims were found lying on the floor, while the body of the shooter was partially on the bed.
Preliminary investigation suggests that the officer gained entry into the house using a spare key and proceeded to shoot his wife and her stepbrother before taking his own life. It has also been established that the couple had separated on the 30th of July 2025 following a series of marital disputes. The late Wana Samuzela has been identified as a medical doctor stationed at Solwezi Provincial Health Office, recently transferred from Lusaka. He has been residing with the couple at the time of the incident. Police have since instituted a full-scale investigation into the matter. All three bodies have been transported to Solwezi General Hospital mortuary, where they await postmortem examinations and subsequent burial.
And in other news trending this evening, the Ministry of Tourism has recorded a significant progress in Zambia's tourism performance for the first half of 2025, with international arrivals and innovative data tracking tours positioning the country as a competitive and evolving destination. Zambia National Service ZNS has expressed gratitude for the continued healthy engagements with the United States government, particularly through the United States Africa Command AFRICOM, culminating into strengthened relations and implementation of military training programs, among other benefits. Up next, the business news.
Fun from Radio Business News. We in business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket BNB for a family of 5 in Lusaka stood at 11,602 kwacha 37 ngwe in July 2025, down from 11,763 kwacha 38 ngwe in June 2025, representing a 1.37% monthly decrease. This modest reduction of 106 60 kwacha 96 ngwe was largely attributed to price declines in select essential food and non-food items. Social and Economic Development Program Officer Ms. Lukwesa Musonda says under the essential food items section, 2 kgs of chicken dropped from 173 kwacha 32 ngwe to 146 kwacha 74 ngwe, and 1 kilogram of pounded groundnuts fell from 91 kwacha 52 ngwe to 63 kwacha 11 ngwe. Ms. Musonda, however, says inflationary pressure persists in key nutritional items. She says the price of 1 kilogram of carpenter rose significantly to 446 kwacha 65 ngwe from 388 kwacha 88 ngwe, posing a risk to dietary diversity and protein intake, particularly among low-income households.
Even with a slight decrease in the basic needs and nutrition basket, the financial burden on Zambian households remains substantial, reflecting the country's delicate economic recovery. Although headline indicators such as a stronger kwacha and falling fuel prices suggest macroeconomic progress, these gains have yet to translate into tangible improvements for most households. The widespread vulnerability in informal employment, marked by insufficient wages, a lack of social safety nets, and continuous underemployment, is a primary reason for this disconnect.
Ends the business news.
Farm from Radio Business News, we mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And in news from across our borders, United States President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff has for the first time visited a controversial Israeli and US-backed aid distribution site in Gaza. Witkoff went with U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mark Huckabee, in a delegation accompanied by the Israel Defense Forces, IDF. Huckabee said they went to learn the truth about the activities of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF sites. The visit follows near daily reports of deadly shootings at GHF points, with the UN reporting at non-Palestinians killed in the vicinity of the sites, a figure the rejects. And in sports news, the Premier League will not reduce in size from 20 to 18 clubs, says Chief Executive Richard Masters, amid tensions with World Governing Body FIFA over the congested international calendar. The top flight season begins on 15th August, kicking off 11 months of competitive action, which will end in the US for the World Cup final on 19th July. The season starts 3 weeks after Chelsea beat Paris Saint-Germain to win the Cup, and 2 weeks after the final round of summer series matches. City midfielder Rodri suggested last year that players are close to going on strike because of the increase in games. And now the evening weather report.
Plot 17100 off Katanga from Main Road, Shinika Industrial Area, Lusaka.
The evening is mainly clear, windy at times, and my report in that item brings us to the end of the news, but a couple of the stories that made headlines. Forum for African Women Educationalist of Zambia, FAWEZA Executive Director Costin Kanchele, has underscored the need for infrastructure to engage in meaningful dialogue and education around sexual and reproductive health and rights, SRHR. Zambia Union of Government and Allied Workers President Muyiwa Kabisa has expressed concern over the failure by some members of parliament to initiate and support necessary development projects in their constituencies, despite having promised to represent their people in the pursuit of progress. And finally, United States President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff has for the first time visited the controversial Israeli and US-backed aid distribution site in Gaza. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie Banda. Enjoy the rest of the evening.